Right. I'm off to deal with the fate of the planet. Be gentle with them.
Oh, you know me, Mark. Kid gloves, but made from real kids.
Yesterday I released a video and messed up the audio because I forgot to edit something out, so this is a re-upload that I'm doing it today, and let's get into the video. I've seen Captain America Brave New World, and honestly, it didn't go straight to the toilet. In fact, I was thoroughly entertained. I didn't feel like anyone was phoning it in, and the plot wasn't half-baked. It's a popcorn flick, and it's been a while since I've seen one work this well. Sure, some areas are held together with duct tape, but everything just clicks. I went into the film with only having seen the trailer and nothing else, because I wanted to make this review without any spoilers or bias. So here's a quick spoiler-free plot summary. Sam Wilson, the new Captain America, finds himself at the center of an international incident and must uncover the motive behind a nefarious global plan. Let's talk about the negatives first. My first point being the marketing mess. One major issue is how the marketing failed to prepare viewers. The trailers were intentionally vague about the plot, so if you haven't revisited The Incredible Hulk or maybe even The Eternals, you might feel lost and don't know what the fuck this film is about. This movie feels more like a follow-up to the Hulk film, and while the 16-year gap between Cap 4 and Incredible Hulk is acknowledged, it doesn't necessarily make the connection any smoother. The MCU has had so many films since 2008 that expecting the audiences to connect these dots feels more like homework. Now, to be fair, in comics, revisiting obscure plot lines and characters is normal, even rewarding if you've been following the comics for a long time. On film, this is not as rewarding. In fact, it's rather draining. My second negative is the plot is far too much of a familiar formula, and by that I mean is a lack of originality. The plot of Brave New World feels like a remix of Captain America the Winter Soldier, and the upside is we get to see how Sam, as a different kind of America, reacts to similar circumstances. The flip side is the outcome is fairly predictable because Steve obviously didn't choose Sam for no reason. My third negative is the old classic of CGI woes. Their CGI is hit or miss, and this is, in terms of CGI, one of the better Marvel films. It's not as bad as Black Panther's infamous final fight, which looked like a fucking PS3 cutscene, but there are some CGI backgrounds very noticeable, especially towards the film's end, and for me it didn't ruin the experience, but you will spot the cracks easily if you have a keen eye for that sort of thing. The last point, or the last negative I have to harp on is the MCU humor. I'm no stranger, and this is not the first MCU film I'm watching, you know. There's always this kind of brand of humor that I don't get, because what happened to integrity? It's a brand, I know, but a serious scene needs room to breathe, and instead of letting these scenes naturally conclude, there's always a quick quip to undercut the emotional weight. It's like Marvel, Disney, Kevin Feige, whoever can't help themselves but include this. Now that I've gotten every negative out of my body, let's talk about the positives the film provides. For number one, Harrison Ford actually cares. Harrison Ford is famous these days for being a grumpy old man who doesn't shy away from hiding his disinterest in certain projects he stars in. But here, he surprisingly delivers. Maybe it's the Marvel Disney money that convinced him to care. I don't know. He does, and it's great, because when Harrison Ford cares, he's a great actor. He takes over the role of Thunderbolt Ross after William Hurt's passing, and Ford brings an explosive rage that fits the character perfectly. I think he's better in that department than William Hurt. Plus, Thunderbolt Ross has always been kind of a side character in previous films with limited screen time, so the recasting doesn't feel so jarring, and Harrison Ford just had more room to play with, I believe. Now we come to number 2. Anthony Mackie shines here. Really, he absolutely owns his role as Sam Wilson. Whether it's because of his executive producer role or just his dedication, it doesn't matter. He delivers. The chemistry between Mackie and Ford are some of the most electric and best scenes in the film, and their shared screen time elevates the film itself. He's charming, cool, and with enough intense integrity as Chris Evans, you know. I also want to give a shout out to Carl Lumbly, who portrays Isaiah Washington. He gives a stellar dramatic performance all throughout the film, which is just heartbreaking that it clashes with the actual film product, you know. A character or a character actor of this level doesn't deserve to be in such a mid-film, or maybe it's because he's a veteran actor that his performance just shines more. Number 3 is the action scenes are well done, even if some are a bit too short. That said, there's one fight scene with such intense flashing lights that it probably should have come with an epilepsy warning. Otherwise, the action feels grounded and fits the tone, and there's a dogfight over Celestial Island, and that's probably one of the best fights through this film, and really intense, so I loved it. Number 4, it's the thoughtful themes, even if they're lightly touched. The themes of feeling inadequate, integrity, politicking, and dealing with pressure are present throughout the film, and I think that's one of those things that the film really wanted to focus on, but ultimately doesn't. The film doesn't dive too deep into these ideas. Sadly, it's like dipping your finger into a glass of water. So like 10 millimeters in, your finger is underwater, obviously, but 10 millimeters is not that much, you know, and this is kind of the thing here. But there's enough texture to give the overall story some weight. Number 5 of my positives is the movie has a distinct visual identity that aligns with the previous Captain America films, as well as Sam's previous journey in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It doesn't rely on grand bombastic sets for the most part, but everything looks polished and cohesive, and you really feel that this all takes place in one universe, because there have been some Marvel films that are more brighter, more fun in color, and there have also been some that were more darkly lit or lit to flat, you know. If you look at the first Avengers film, it's a really flat looking film, and here everything is cohesive. And my last positive, and this is totally a me thing, it's Liv Tyler, who has a cameo in the film towards the end. Now, her Betty Ross is teased throughout the film. I did not expect that she shows up. And I don't know about you people, but Liv Tyler is always a winner in my book. My final verdict for this film is 7.5 out of 10. It's not perfect, but Captain America Brave New World delivers an entertaining ride with strong performances and solid action. If you can overlook the recycled plot and a few rough edges, there's a lot to enjoy, honestly. Now, don't click off the video. I still have some nitpicks. For me, those nitpicks are not necessarily negatives. It's just questions that I have with decisions that were made in this film. So I'm placing this at the end. There's a certain case of wasted talent in this film, and I know there have been reshoots and stuff like that, but I don't care about the reshoots, you know, or what was originally planned to be in the film. Ultimately, I have to judge the film of what is here. And there's just this question, why cast Giancarlo Esposito as Sidewinder of all people? Why include the Serpent Society? I get Captain America doesn't have that many enemies, but the Serpent Society is really kind of goofy. And secondly, if you have Esposito, use him for more than he is in the film. At least he does the most with his limited screen time. And this brings me to my next point. Why is there another Black Widow type in this film? We're told she is an ex-widow, but do we really need more Black Widow operatives? This could have been a great opportunity to introduce Rachel Leighton, aka Diamondback, who's sometimes ally and sometimes villain of Captain America. And according to original plans, she was supposed to be in this film. Why was she excluded? Is just my question. You know, I would have rather had Rachel Leighton than the character that is in this film, whose name I forgot. Lastly, my last nitpick is, why is this a Hulk sequel? For a Captain America film, it sure spends a lot of time wrapping up loose ends from the Incredible Hulk. It's an incredible weird choice, Marvel. But yeah, that's it for now. Like, subscribe, you know the drill. See you in the next video.
Don't forget to subscribe!
Now get the fuck out of my driveway.